Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's post comes from the subreddit Am I Overreacting, written by user Northwinterfox. The title is, Am I Overreacting? My girlfriend went on a trip with her friends and came back acting like a totally different person. So, here's the story. I'm a 25-year-old guy, and I've been with my girlfriend, she's 22, for a little over 2 years. We moved in together a few months ago, and honestly, it's been going really well. Sure, we've had small disagreements here and there, but nothing serious. Last week, she went away with her college friends to a family-owned lake house or cabin. It was just the girls, kind of a last summer getaway before a couple of them move out of state. I had no problem with it, I told her to enjoy herself and have fun. But when she came back, something felt off instantly. She walked through the door, barely looked at me, gave me a quick hug, and went straight to unpacking in the bedroom. No, I missed you, nothing. Usually, we text a lot when we're apart, but on this trip, her replies were slower and shorter than normal. Since she's been back, she's been unusually quiet, not angry, just distant. She zones out a lot, doesn't laugh like she used to, and feels emotionally flat when we talk. When I asked about the trip, she just said it was all right and quickly changed the subject. No funny stories, no photos, nothing, which is very unlike her. Normally, she comes back from any outing with a bunch of stories and a full camera roll. Another change, she's been journaling a lot. That's not bad, but it's new. She's always been into mindfulness, so it's not completely out of character, but this feels different. I asked if everything was okay, and she said she was just tired and processing a lot. When I gently pressed, she told me I was being clingy and that she needed some space. I've never been called clingy before, so that stung. I even asked a couple of her friends if something happened, but they brushed me off and told me not to worry. Now I'm sitting here wondering, what happened on that trip that made her come back so different? I don't think she's mad at me, but it feels like she left as one person and returned as someone else. She's completely shut me out. I'm trying not to blow it out of proportion, but it honestly feels like I'm being frozen out for no reason. Am I overreacting for feeling hurt and unsettled? Should I just give her space and drop the questions? This whole thing sucks. Personally, I don't think you're overreacting. Anyone would notice such a sudden shift. Like you said, she left warm and communicative, and came back distant, guarded, and avoiding details. That kind of change usually has a cause. The worst part is that her silence is making your imagination run wild. It could be something personal, emotional, or even related to your relationship, but shutting you out without an explanation isn't fair. I get that space can be important, but space is not the same thing as stonewalling. You've been living together and building trust, you deserve some kind of clarity. The journaling, lack of stories, and evasiveness from both her and her friends are red flags worth noting. If I were you, I'd stay calm but firm, respect her need for space, but don't pretend the shift doesn't exist. If she keeps refusing to open up, that speaks volumes about where the relationship stands, regardless of what actually happened on that trip. What do you all think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's check out some responses from the community. Unfussy Kitten says, you're not overreacting. I agree with giving her space, to a point. But if my partner came back acting so disconnected and zoned out, I'd be worried about something traumatic happening. My partner shuts down when she's upset, so I'd give her a few days, then approach her like, hey, I'm worried about you. I'm not mad, I just want to check in mentally. You've been distant, has something been bothering you? I wouldn't even bring up the trip. She'll either appreciate the concern and open up, or she'll blow up, which means you'll have to decide your next move. In my mind, either she had a conflict or got hurt, or she cheated or did something she shouldn't have. Either way, please update us. Void G adds, it's going to be rough until she's ready to talk. From what you've described, something definitely happened. Her friends telling you don't worry while her behavior is clearly off is suspicious. Are they part of the problem? OP replies, I don't know. I've met one of her friends before and she seemed friendly, fun, and genuine, never struck me as the type to cause problems. I don't really know the rest of the group that well, just that they're around the same age. All About Bird says, you're not overreacting, but if she asks for space, give her some, within reason. Maybe spend a week focusing on yourself, hang out with friends, pursue your hobbies, get out of the house. After that, check in. If she's still distant, you may need to reconsider the relationship. It's fine for someone to need time to process things, but icing you out forever is unfair. Effective pitch 5550 comments, trust your gut. No one asks for space if everything is fine. Her calling you clingy is her polite way of telling you to back off. Either she went through something upsetting, unlikely if she's chatting normally with her friends but avoiding you, or she cheated. Maybe she feels guilty, but not sorry, and is rethinking the relationship. OP responds, I'm not ready to accuse her of cheating. She's always said she values us, and I trust my instincts, but maybe I do need to step back a bit. Thanks for the input. The general consensus from the community is that OP isn't overreacting, that something definitely happened, and that he should wait a little before confronting her again. Now, on to the first of two updates. First, thank you to everyone who commented or messaged me. It helped to talk about it, even if some responses made me feel worse. I read everything, even if I didn't reply to each one.
So here's what happened next. This wasn't a planned conversation. It just happened. Earlier, I had asked one of her friends if something was going on. She didn't open up, only said it wasn't her place to say anything. I figured I wasn't going to get more from her, so I decided I'd try again with my girlfriend later. When my girlfriend came home from work, she was still acting distant. She barely spoke, didn't touch the dinner I made, went for a long walk, then took a long shower. Afterward, she stayed in the bedroom, not engaging. I went in after a while and gently asked about her day. Not pushing, just letting her know I cared and wanted to understand. I told her I wasn't blaming her or looking for a fight, but it wasn't fair to keep me in the dark when we've always shared everything. I reassured her I'd support her no matter what. At first, she mumbled that she didn't know what to say, that she was tired. So I gave her space, went for a walk, and when I came back she started opening up, slowly. I'm not going to share every single word because it feels personal and I'm still processing it. But here's the gist. Yes, something happened on the trip. She didn't give every detail, but made it clear it crossed the line for a committed relationship. By a lot. There had been plans for drinking, which I knew about. She drinks occasionally, I do too, and it's never been an issue. I've never tried to limit her social life. She's been to raves and parties and I've never worried. She said it wasn't planned, that it just happened and she wasn't herself, which instantly made my stomach drop. That sounded like she was preparing me for something bad. I encouraged her to just tell me outright, since she'd already said enough that I couldn't just walk away from it. She explained the trip itself went according to plan. Drinks, sauna by the lake, swimming, games, hanging out. Sounded like a normal friends' weekend. Later that night, after more drinking, they played music, partied, and split into two groups. Some in the hot tub, others inside playing board games. She kept circling around the point, almost defending how good the trip was overall. Eventually, she admitted that later in the night, someone suggested a drinking game. I didn't think that was a big deal at first. Those can be fun in moderation. But they played a version of spin the bottle mixed with drinking or dares. And a few of the girls started pushing the limits. She admitted she told me she joined in on the game and wanted to participate. But the way she said it, I don't know. She seemed embarrassed, speaking softly. At first, the dares were harmless and pretty standard. Things like, who's your celebrity crush? Or what's your darkest secret? Or sing this particular song. I assumed the rest would stay along those innocent lines. But as the drinking continued, the game started crossing boundaries. The dares escalated. Girls kissing each other, picking merry, filled choices, pouring drinks into each other's mouths and so on. Clearly, that's the sort of thing that can spiral into a bad situation quickly. My girlfriend told me she didn't think much of it at the time and felt it was just fun in the moment. She insisted it was consensual, no one minded, and that it's normal for girls after a few drinks. She said she didn't even remember everything clearly because she woke up hungover. She claimed she wasn't attracted to women like that, never usually does these things, and mostly just watched from the side. She never specified exactly what she did or didn't do, but her tone sounded guilty, which only made things more confusing. One of the girls there, let's call her Ellie, I've met before. She's upbeat, friendly, and seemed like the last person who'd hurt either of us. I asked my girlfriend if Ellie had been involved, partly to find out if I'd been completely wrong about her, and partly to see if they all just went along despite knowing she had a boyfriend. My girlfriend said Ellie didn't take part, left the cabin when things started, and came back later. Ellie apparently wasn't feeling well and decided to sit it out. They spoke outside later that night, but my girlfriend swore nothing happened between them. I believed that, so I'm not sure why she even brought it up. It didn't seem suspicious in the first place. She also mentioned she hasn't talked much to Ellie or the others since the trip. I didn't yell or lose my temper. I mostly sat there in silence, unsure how to respond. She didn't sound like her usual thoughtful self. She kept saying she didn't know why she shut me out, that she's been feeling awful since, and that she just needed time to put her feelings into words. Things have been heavy between us ever since she got back, and now I finally know why. I told her I needed some space, went for a walk, then came home and sat in the living room without saying much. Am I now doing the same thing? Shutting her out and avoiding the issue? Pretending the elephant in the room isn't there? Obviously I can't just be okay with this. I can't imagine life without her, which makes her actions hard to process. Should I crash somewhere else tonight? Should I end things immediately? My mind is a mess, and I don't know how to approach this. I've never been confrontational, but I love her deeply. Still, I'm not sure I can look at her the same way. Not just because of what she may have done, but because she came home and shut me out, making me feel like I was crazy for noticing something was off. This is something she should have told me right away. This directly impacts us, and I'm not sure there even is an us anymore. We've always had clear boundaries and never crossed them. The fact that she's still withholding details really bothers me. That's where I'm at. Not asking for advice right now, but you're welcome to share your thoughts. I just needed to unload this. Feels surreal and not in a good way. I'm sorry, OP, but I'm not buying her story. I think the whole time she was avoiding you, she was carefully crafting a version of events. Bad enough to explain her behavior, but not so bad you'd leave, and vague enough that you'd hopefully stop asking questions. Even you can see there are big gaps in her account. For me, that would be the point where I step off this train. Now, the final update. This one's for closure. For me, and for those following along. I'm staying somewhere else for a couple more days before starting to prepare for a split. I finally had a real conversation with Ellie. Took all evening. She didn't seem eager to talk at first, but eventually opened up. She was the only one who stayed sober and didn't participate, which I respect. Here's what she told me. 1. Everyone was drinking heavily, and at some point, some of the girls invited a few guys over who were staying nearby. I had no idea men would even be there. 2. Ellie wasn't sure if this had been planned in advance or decided in the moment, but she didn't know about it beforehand. The drinking game got more intense once the guys joined in. 3. According to Ellie, my girlfriend ended up making out with 2 people. One of the girls, the same one who told me not to worry and refused to answer my questions earlier, and one of the guys. 4. There was a lot of physical contact that went beyond playful. As far as Ellie knows, they didn't have sex, but she left before the night was over. Either way, it went way past what's acceptable in our relationship. What cut the deepest was hearing that my girlfriend wasn't even that drunk when it happened. Tipsy, yes, but fully aware and engaged. She was laughing, involved, and showed no signs of being pressured. Ellie said she left because she felt uncomfortable, and when she came back later, my girlfriend was still partying, slurring her words and clearly a mess. I spoke to my girlfriend, now ex, over the phone. She gave me mostly silence or mumbled responses. I told her straight out that I knew what she did and that the least she could do before we ended things was admit it. I asked if I ever truly mattered to her, or if our whole relationship had been a performance. I asked how long she's had a drinking problem, since I'd always seen her as mature and sensible. She cried, said I should come home so she could make it up to me, and that even if she did it, she still loved me. That was it for me. I can't stay in a relationship where I'm lied to, gaslit, and made to feel like I'm overreacting for noticing something's wrong. She should have told me the truth the second she got home. Hell, the second it happened. Not that it would have made it okay. Some Reddit users have sent me private messages offering kind words, and even pointed me toward Reddit care resources, which I didn't know existed. I don't need that right now, but I'm grateful. Others have been cruel, calling me names, telling me I'm pathetic, even asking for my ex's socials. Some don't believe my story, which is fair. It's the internet. But to those people, I don't know what you expect me to say. You've added nothing to my life. Posting this online was probably a mistake. This will be my last update. Moving on. To those dealing with similar situations. You matter, you deserve better, and you should know your worth. That was the right call. Oh, cheaters aren't worth holding on to. Wishing you the best as you move forward. And now let's end with a quick mood boost. This one's from Malicious Compliance by user Supportaza. No drinks at your desk? Fine, but don't expect me to answer the phones. I used to work reception at a small insurance office in the UK. Policy was no food or drink at the front desk. Fair enough. But during a summer heatwave with no AC, I brought a water bottle and kept it hidden behind the monitor. One day, the manager spotted it and told me, "Absolutely no drinks at the desk. Doesn't matter if it's hot. Rules are rules." I asked, "Even water?" He said yes. So the next day I didn't bring any. By 2 p.m. I was dizzy and dehydrated. I left the desk to sit in the break room and drink. The manager came in asking why I wasn't at the desk. I reminded her, no drinks allowed. Phones started ringing off the hook, clients waiting around. After that I was told to use common sense. And my water bottle stayed. Seriously. She tells you to use common sense after enforcing that nonsense. Good thing you don't work there anymore, OP. That's all for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, here are a few more you might like. And if you don't have time right now, save them for later. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.